Hey, thanks for making it to Veterans Info Tap. I'm glad you made it. For those that don't know, the VA has projected a shortfall for the remainder of this fiscal year and also into next fiscal year. This video is important because there are talks in order to correct this year's fiscal shortfall. Hang on with me. This is a $2.9 billion shortfall for the remainder of this year. That's only until the end of September of 2024. So not much time left, and they're short $2.9 billion with a B. And what are we anticipating is going to happen? There are talks happening at the Senate, and I wanted to share an update with you here today. Please hit the thumbs up, subscribe, share with a friend, all that good stuff. I truly, truly appreciate it. The two asks are really, look, hit the thumbs up, let the video run. Those two things let YouTube know that we are up and running and making things happen over here at Veterans Info Tap. I really appreciate each and every one of you. It is definitely a many hands makes light work situation. It is us as a collective. If you want to support the channel in other ways, please consider being a member. You can do that by going to the homepage. You'll see the highlighted members there and a join button. You can hit that and support the channel in that way. I really appreciate all of you members, truly. All right, so let's jump into this. For those that have been watching, you saw a couple different videos, and I believe other people have pushed this out too, that the VA's shortfall projection of $15 billion with a B over the remainder of this fiscal year, next fiscal year, is essentially a $12 billion shortfall for next year, and the remainder of this year is approximately a $2.9 billion. Well, Congress needs to act quickly in order to, I guess, avoid any negative consequences from the VA's mismanagement, if you ask me. All right, so with that, let's jump into the headline here. A nearly $3 billion, because it's 2.9, so nearly 3, whatever. So a nearly $3 billion shortfall in VA benefits is looming. The Senate has proposed a fix, but time is running out. So let's see what they have to say here. And I'm really frustrated with the VA that they did not see the writing on the wall months ago. It would have been nice if this was before the Military Construction Veterans Affairs Act that got approved on the House side back in June. So you're telling me that back at the beginning of June, the VA, did not realize, well, we're probably going to be short like $3 billion. Yeah, whatever. All right, so let's jump into this. That's Stan. For those that don't know, that's my rooster, and he likes to chime in. All right. Seeking to avoid a disruption in veterans' benefits payments later this year, a bipartisan group of senators has introduced a bill to fix a nearly $3 billion shortfall for disability and education benefits the Department of VA expects to face by October. Wonderful. The movement in the Senate to shore up VA benefits accounts come as VA Secretary Dennis McDonough responded to a key House chairman's demand for more information on the budget shortfall by the lawmakers' deadline. But it's unclear whether that will be enough to stop a subpoena. We'll see what happens here. So moving on, I wanted to jump into this story because we need to know what's happening. And it's going to be a little bit of reiteration, I believe, but it's just good to know where we're at so we can know where we're going. So moving on here, both developments resolve around a roughly $15 billion shortfall the VA told Congress earlier this month. It now projects to face this year and next. The budget gap includes $2.9 billion with a B for disability and education benefits this fiscal year and $12 billion for medical care next fiscal year. Okay, let's rewind a little bit. For the remainder of this year, $2.9 billion for disability and education benefits this fiscal year. What? How do they screw this up? I have no idea. When people get awarded compensation, you can go, this person's getting this much, multiplied over the remainder of the year. We don't have enough compared to how much we have in the bucket. That's going to create a shortfall. It baffles me that it would be in the billions. All right, moving on. If Congress does not enact a fix to address the benefits funding gap by September 20th, compensation and pension payments to over 7 million veterans and survivors, and readjustment benefit payments to over 500,000 individuals that are scheduled to be delivered on October 1st, 2024 are at risk. The department told Congress in a slideshow earlier this month that was obtained by military.com. Thank you, military.com. All right, so as such, 7 senators from both parties announced Monday afternoon they were introducing a bill to plug the hole in benefits funding. There's a quotation here. We fought to make the PACT Act law to expand the care and benefits millions of veterans earned when they served our country. And because of it, more veterans than ever are getting care they deserve, Senator Brown from Ohio said in a statement about introducing the bill. We must ensure VA can continue to implement the PACT Act. We can't deny the brave veterans who sacrificed to protect our country the benefits they earned because VA doesn't have the resources. In addition to Brown, the bill is sponsored by Senators Murray and Collins, the leaders of the Senate Appropriations Committee, John Tester and Jerry Moran, the leaders of the Senate Veterans Affairs Committee, and Sinema and Boozman, the leaders of the Appropriations Committee's VA subcommittee. So, I mean, they got all the right people in place, and it would be, a political disaster if 7 million veterans didn't get their benefits. So, let's move on here. VA officials have attributed the benefits funding shortfall largely to an increase in disability claims driven by the PACT Act, which expanded VA eligibility and benefits to millions of veterans exposed to toxins during their military service. The shortfall is also being caused by higher than expected usage of GI Bill benefits, VA officials have said. The explanation has not sat well with some lawmakers who maintain the VA should have anticipated the PACT Act-related increases. Absolutely, I agree. They should have been able to, forecast better, but then also with real-time data, month after month, of new claims awarded, you can project out how far off you're going to be. The writing was literally on the wall. It was a lack of, I'm still blown away. It was laziness on the VA's part, or it was intentional. It's one of the two. I mean, that's it. So, moving on. I'm gravely concerned that the administration, both at the VA and the White House Office of Management and Budget specifically, misled Congress for months about the state of affairs at VA and the level of resources that are actually needed to care for veterans and their survivors, Moran said at an Appropriations Committee meeting last week. Still, he added, Congress has no choice but to act to ensure veterans and survivors do not suffer. House Veterans Affairs Committee Chairman Mike Bowe similarly accused the VA of fiscal mismanagement in a letter to McDonough about the shortfall earlier this month. Boast's letter also demanded McDonough answer a slew of questions about the shortfall by this past Friday or else face compulsory processes as in subpoena to get information. McDonough sent Boast a response by his Friday deadline in which he defended the department's previous budget estimates and reiterated its stance that the shortfall is a sign of the department's better-than-expected implementation of the PACT Act. The response also pledged to provide a briefing to committee staff on some additional details. So, again, we're talking a lot of money here, and we're also talking, we're in basically August at this point. It's the end of July 31st. So, I don't know. I'm not very excited. I mean, you know what claims you have in process. You know how many claims are coming in. You know how many are in the decision phase. You know how many are in the we just awarded you phase. Here's your back pay. So, I don't know. I think there could have been a better job. At least a warno, right? At least a warno off to Congress that, hey, look, not quite sure yet, but it's looking like we're cutting it super close this fiscal year, and I'm not sure if we're going to make it. I'm going to keep you abreast of this every other week until we know for sure, right? So anyway, moving on. As I testified to your committee in the spring, we thought the aggressive outreach we were conducting could result in our needing additional funding. McDonald wrote, according to a copy of the letter obtained by military.com, I pledged then that if we did end up needing additional money, we would come forward accordingly. We look forward to working with you closely to address these needs in a way that ensures no veterans will be adversely impacted and that we can continue to deliver care and benefits to veterans at record rates. While McDonald responded by Boast's deadline, a committee spokesperson told military.com the panel is still reviewing the answers, and so the prospect of a subpoena is not off the table yet. Asked about ongoing subpoena threat, VA spokesperson Terrence Hayes told military.com on Tuesday that the department has responded directly to the chairman and briefed his staff and will continue to exercise transparency in answering his questions. While senators have taken an initial step to prevent a disruption in benefits, time is running short in the legislative calendar to act before the VA's September 20th deadline. Senators are scheduled to leave town at the end of the week until September 9th, and the House has already left for its summer recess that goes until the same date. That leaves just 2 working weeks for Congress to approve a fix. Another open question is how lawmakers will address the $12 billion shortfall in VA medical funding for fiscal year 2025. Congress has yet to approve government funding for fiscal 25, meaning lawmakers could still allocate more funding for VA medical accounts as part of the regular annual VA spending bill, but they also would have to reach a bipartisan agreement to ignore previously approved budget caps. Asked at a news conference last week whether the VA has a workaround if Congress does not address the shortfalls, McDonald said that the main thing we're focused on is getting this done. Obviously, it would be prudent for us to plan for that, but right now we're really focused on getting in the first instance. This is very straightforward fix for the Veterans Benefits Administration by the middle of September, he said. We'll make sure that as we need contingency plans, we're talking about those so that we're informing veterans as well. Okay, that's such a dumb response because, look, every single situation that has been negative within the VA over the past 3-4 years starts off with that response. Well, we're really just focused on this and we're thinking that everything's going to be just fine. Then bam, all of a sudden it's not, and you have zero contingency plan, and who suffers? Veterans, right? Case in point, let's talk about the IT issues at the deadline of PACT Act filings for either filing a claim or filing an intent to file. Filing the intent to files ended up crashing the system. The VA wasn't prepared. They had to ask for an extension on the date. So that's a small one, but big enough that some people may have missed out on actually securing an intent to file during that time period. Let's talk about the COVID forbearance. COVID forbearance was going to allow veterans to move payments from their loan to the end of their loan to buy them some breathing room while they were looking for different jobs, trying to figure out their financial situations during the peak of COVID. And what did the VA do? The VA ended the program while veterans were in the middle of waiving payments and not making payments, with the idea that it would be added to the end of their loan, and then the lenders try to do that, and VA says, nope, can't do it, that now has expired. Well, that mindset of, well, we're just going to focus on that, and that should wrap it up and be good, with zero contingency plan, ended up potentially putting veterans on the street, having veterans sell their homes, and for sure having veterans lose lucrative interest rates in the 2s and 3% and have to modify their loan in order to save their home to a higher interest rate. So, I could keep going on, but I won't. It's that type of thinking of, plan A is plan A with zero contingency plan. Maybe it's because he's a non-veteran. I don't know, but it's horrible. It's a horrible practice and a horrible thing to lean on. Option A is it, and let's just focus on option A. Sounds good. All in, right? Dumb. Anyway, thanks for watching. I appreciate you. Have a great one, and remember, if we don't take care of each other, something went wrong.